I was cooking breakfast when the knock came. 3 soft taps, too polite for a stranger, too deliberate for a neighbor. I wiped my hands and opened the door. A detective stood there. Rain clung to her coat, dripping from the edge of her badge. "Sir," she said, voice steady, "your wife was involved in a serious accident 2 hours ago." I almost laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was impossible. "No," I said quietly, "she's upstairs getting ready for work." The detective's expression shifted, confusion first, then something sharper. She placed a hand near her holster. "Sir, may I come in?" Something in me tightened, a cold pressure behind the ribs. But I stepped aside. She entered cautiously, scanning the house like she expected to find a crime scene. I led her up the stairs, each step heavier than the last. My wife was sitting at the vanity table, brushing her hair. The same calm morning routine. The same soft hum under her breath. The detective froze. Then, slowly, her hand moved to her weapon. "Sir," she whispered, "step away from her. That isn't your wife." And in that moment, without knowing why, I believed her. Everything that felt off suddenly made sense. The late nights, the wrong perfume, the messages she hid, the way she kissed me like someone rehearsing an act. I stepped back. My wife, no, the woman sitting there, turned and smiled at me. A smile that didn't reach her eyes. A smile she'd practiced too many times. Something was terribly, surgically wrong. But I stayed silent, because this wasn't the moment I'd break, not after everything I'd already uncovered. The truth had started weeks earlier, long before the detective arrived. It began with a different knock, a quiet ping on her phone while she showered, an unknown number, a single line, "Did he suspect anything last night?" My stomach had dropped, but on the surface I remained composed. I deleted nothing, I asked nothing, I simply watched. And I kept watching. Her late shift excuses, her sudden interest in night walks, the way guilt made her sweeter, gentler, overcompensating with touches that felt borrowed. I played along. Inside, I was already cataloging every detail, every inconsistency. Patterns formed, routes cracked. I traced her messages, checked a location history she forgot to disable, cross-verified timestamps. I even found a photo, cropped, blurry, but unmistakable. A man's hand holding hers across a restaurant table she'd sworn she never visited. Not violent evidence, worse, intimate evidence. For days I lived in silence, while the truth festered inside me like a blade I refused to pull out. She looked at me every morning with the same borrowed warmth, unaware I'd already begun dismantling the illusion she built. Then the accident happened. A car crash, a hospital admission, a call I never received. Because she wasn't the one involved. He was. The man from the photo. And in that accident, they found something else. Something she didn't expect. A second phone. His phone. With messages from her. Plans, pictures, promises they whispered behind my back. 2 different lives. 1 woman. The detective stepped closer to her now, voice firm. "Ma'am, I need you to stand up slowly." My wife did. Calmly. Too calmly. Her eyes flicked toward me, not frightened, not guilty, just calculating. I felt my pulse slow, not quicken. This was the moment I'd been preparing for. Weeks of quiet investigation, quiet rage, quiet acceptance led here. "Do you know why we're here?" the detective asked. My wife tilted her head. "Because he finally figured it out," she said softly. The detective stiffened. I didn't move. My wife looked at me with an expression I'd never seen before. Something stripped of pretense, stripped of warmth. The real her. "You were never supposed to know," she whispered. I pulled the printed messages from my pocket. Her messages, his messages, the photos, the routes, The timeline. I laid them on the vanity table in front of her. She stared at them. Her breath stuttered. Not because she was caught, but because she realized how long I'd known. How long I'd stayed quiet. How long I'd watched her lie with that same sweet, practiced smile. The detective exhaled sharply. This is enough. You could have told me, I said. My voice didn't shake. It didn't rise. You could have left. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. For the first time, she looked small. I stepped back. A simple gesture, but it was the most devastating one. Detachment. She reached toward me. Instinct, panic, desperation. I didn't take her hand. The detective guided her out, reading her rights. I didn't follow. I didn't watch. When the door closed, the house felt quiet again. Cleaner, simpler. I returned to the kitchen. The eggs had burned. The pan hissed. It didn't matter. Some things have to burn before you can start over. And finally, I could breathe again.